Alright, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at CrewAI and Semantic Router. You may be more familiar with CrewAI than Semantic Router, but we're going to be combining them into one project today. Everything we build today is going to use all local models, and I'm hosting it in Text Web Generation UI. The model I'm using is the Mistral 7B Instruct model 0.2. Our goal today is to automate the process of researching a NBA sports bet. So our agent is going to need to be able to access the web for current information. We're going to need to research injuries, team stats, all that stuff. Doing that with a local model can be challenging. Today I'm going to show you how you can use Semantic Router so that each piece of research that the main agent is doing actually gets filtered down to a specialized agent. Each of those specialized agents can have their own set of goals, backstory, specific tools, instructions for how to use those tools, etc. So let me show you how we do that. All right, this is our main task. It's set up in a pretty straightforward manner if you're familiar with CrewAI. If you're not familiar, I do suggest going out to their GitHub. They have lots of cool examples up about like a stock researcher and other things out there. So this is, like I said, set up kind of how you'll see most of their basic examples. We define our tasks, and we define our agents. We've got the boss agent, got a writer, and we eventually build out a crew, start in our task. So it looks pretty similar to how you would see most CrewAI projects set up. However, this tool is where the semantic routing is going to come in. So our natural language research tool is the only thing the boss agent has. It is defined down here. So we want the tool to be as easy as possible to use for the agents, mostly because we're using local models and they're not perfect. So pretty easy tool for the boss to use, but how does it work? That part is a little more complex. So we start out, we have a roster, you can call it, of agents. Some of these agents, I'll show you, for instance, the stats agent has a special stats tool. The injury agent is going to have a tool to go fetch NBA injuries. And our other agents who just research general things are just going to have a couple of search tools as well as specific instructions on how to research their type of information. So after we set up our agents, we start making our routes with Semantic Router. Pretty straightforward. We're going to have one route basically per agent in our instance. Routes have a name, and then they have utterances. Utterances are essentially, if you're familiar with, at least as far as I'm aware, I'm not an expert in the Semantic Router library, but my understanding is it's very similar to how you would use like a RAG type system where we're checking for semantic similarity between the query and the utterances, and that's going to determine which route we go to. So we've got, once again, one route set up per agent. Then we make our route layer. Essentially, you just include all the routes you made. This is actually a pretty easy way, once you have everything set up. This provides a pretty powerful way to add new routes to your application or reduce routes. For instance, I had trouble with the stats agent. I nixed him for a while, came back later, gave him some better tools, better instructions, and put him back on the team. All right, once you have your route set up, I'm building this agent route map. There's probably a lot of different ways you could implement semantic routing in CrewAI. This is how I chose to do it. Not saying it's the best way, but it's what I did. So our route map is essentially going to take the name from our routes that we defined and map them to which agent is going to handle that route, as well as a specific instruction on how to do it. As you can see, the only one I've bothered giving a specific task description to is the injury researcher, but you could flesh this out if you wanted to. After that, it's pretty simple. We get our route choice. You just pass in the natural language request that came in. So this uses the semantic similarity of the utterances to choose a route. From that, we get the route choice. We look up which agent we're going to use for that route. We look up the task description. And I wanted this on every task, this little reminder text. So that's why I'm doing that there. And then we build out a task using our task description and whichever agent was selected by the semantic routing, and execute. So pretty easy. I'll show you what that looks like when we're running. New terminal up. You can see our semantic routing getting updated. So this is the boss agent starting a task. And then eventually you can see he needs to use a natural language research tool. This is the only tool the boss has. And he asked, what are the recent injuries for the LA Lakers? Our route choice was injuries, so this gets routed up to sorry, apparently one of the agents wanted to use Google, so I'm gonna pause this so we don't have that happening all the time. So you can see this route choice is injuries, so that means it went to the injury agent who has access and instructions on how to use the fetch NBA injuries tool. It's actually really simple to use. It takes in any query and returns the entire list of injuries. Our stats tool is a little harder to use. It takes in a team abbreviation, but in general, you want your tools to be as easy for the agents to use as possible if you're going to be using a local model. So I'll show you real quick. That was the injury route. Other types of queries, so how have the Lakers performed recently? That got routed to our team performance agent, who has instructions on how to go about looking up that information. And I think we paused it before we had a call to our stats agent, but that is fine. So anyways, that was a quick demonstration. I'm going to put the code up on GitHub so you can take a look if you want. Let me know what you think. I'd be thrilled to see what other people do with this type of routing, or just combining Semantic Router with various agent frameworks. I think it has a wide variety of applications, and leave a comment if you have any cool projects you think would be interesting to see.